When I moved in here 10 years ago, I didn't have this much stuff, that's for sure. Now, I am recording this on the 26th of May 2022, and today is a very special day. And it's a very special day because it's been 10 years since I moved into this property, which means it's been 10 years since I've had this studio. And I was actually going to do something else. I was going to do another video, and I kind of had that lined up, and then I thought this would actually be probably a little bit more fun. Just to look back, I'm going to have to do a lot of digging for this one, but it's just really to have a look back over the 10 years of having these two rooms, really. When I know some of you have been following my channel for a while, and over the years I have played host to literally several people in here, and it's kind of I always get a kick out of looking back at what this room was when I moved in, and certainly the first few years afterwards, because it was so vastly different. And those of you that have only sort of recently started following the channel or only been watching it for a couple of years, it's kind of been like this for a few years. The layout's changed slightly. All this stuff over here has actually only been here for sort of about a year and a half ago. I did that, and I mean this little wall has been here for a while, and the stuff behind me has been there for a little bit longer. But the sort of evolution, particularly of this room, actually, the other rooms similar-ish. It's always sort of been similar, but the evolution of this room certainly, and the amount of the amount of gear that I've still managed to cram in here. You know what? To be fair, I've always been good with space management through many years working in retail. I've always been quite good at managing space and getting things in, and it's kind of like playing a big game of Tetris in here sometimes, but I've always been quite good with that. But even I've managed to sort of surprise myself with sometimes with the amount of stuff that I've sort of got in here and managed to keep in here, actually. But when I moved in here 10 years ago, I didn't have this much stuff, that's for sure. I've always had a lot of kits. In fact, I've said that recently in another video, which I don't think has come out yet. I haven't got around to finishing it, but I've always had a lot of drums, and before I moved in here, I actually lived around the corner. I lived about 300 yards around the corner. Maybe not even 300 yards, actually, 200 yards around the corner. And that room, that house we rented, and because there was only two of us then, and it was a 3-bedroom house, we had a little spare box room where I kept all the Craviottos and things, all the sort of generally more expensive drums. And I also had a little workshop. I suppose it would call it a workshop, hobby room. It wasn't a studio, it certainly wasn't soundproof, but it was kind of like it was a very solid brick-built, concrete floor sort of workshop room, and it was great for having drums in. I mean, not so much for playing in. I had an electronic kit set up in there, and I'm told that even from outside you could hear the tapping of the pads. But you know, that's I wasn't in there that long, but it was nice to be able to have somewhere to put my drums, even if I couldn't play them particularly. It was still nice to have, and that place actually had the added bonus of having two doors So it had a door into the garden, and it had a door out the back, and there was a little track sort of service road thing out the back, and in theory, I'm not sure how often I ever did it actually, but in theory, I was able to sort of drive around the back and then load and unload straight into my car from there. Subsequently now, I walk past that place all the time, a few times a week. And funny enough, that's all overgrown now. So clearly, the people who are currently in there don't use it in that way. But it was nice to have a little room to keep all my drums and have them all stacked up. And I moved into that house from my parents' house, and I had a ridiculous amount of drums even then, actually, for the size of that room. But when I moved here, I don't know how many kits I had. I'd say maybe half a dozen. I mean, I can certainly tell you which kits I've had for a long period. The Heyman kit being one, which I've literally never, in 10 years of doing this, or nigh on 10 years of actually doing this, but 10 years of having this room, I've never once featured in a video. My Yamaha Birch Custom Absolute, which again, despite the fact that I've had that, kept that, I've had the Heyman kit for 20 years, I've had the Yamaha kit for 20 years, and I've had the Yamaha Monocache kit for probably, I'd say, at least 15 of those years. 3 kits I've never actually featured on this channel, so they'll be coming up at some point. The Heyman's got a 26-inch bass drum as well, which is kind of more fun. But I had that kit, my Premier XPK, I've had that, albeit not quite so many drums. My Janista, I had that. And also the Gold Ingot Heyman kit. I've got a feeling I picked that up in about 2010. Could be wrong on that. But I mean, that's gone too. So the RCI kit I definitely had, that one there, the blue one. Blue one, I had that. I'm just having a quick look around actually, I'm not sure there was much else. And I had a lot of snare drums. I've always had a lot of snare drums. I think a lot of you know that, but yeah, I had a lot of snare drums too, and but not nearly as many as it became. And when I moved into the studio, I kind of, the idea in my head was, ideally I wanted next door to be the snare drum room and sort of cymbal room as well, and then to have this as the kit room. And it didn't quite work out. Even then, it didn't quite work out like that. Actually, I did have I had a fridge in there that I was given, and I thought, that'd be nice to actually have a fridge in there and have some cold drinks. And originally, actually, I wanted to have a couch in here too, but obviously that didn't work out too well either, did it? Yeah, I wanted this to be the kit room, and then I remember I actually had a little a little stack of snare drums over in that corner. And yeah, the other room was kind of was the snare drum room, but I wanted to keep things sort of around the edges, and I had sort of stacks of drums. And I've got a few pictures which I'll put up, obviously, but I had just sort of stacks of drums, and I didn't really have much in the way of sort of racking and shelving and stuff at that point, certainly very early on at that point. And as things, certainly again in the other room, as things sort of went downhill and I bought more drums, I found the need to actually buy more racking too. That's the one thing that you kind of don't immediately sort of twig when you end up buying lots of drums. It's all well and good, but then you got to think about, well, how am I going to store these things? And yeah, so you end up actually buying loads of racking too. Racking is very important if you want to collect drums. But yeah, I mean, the other room, and I kind of, in all the earlier videos, actually, if you go back far enough, and I don't really suggest you do go back too far, because, and not that these are highly polished and everything, drum videos, but the really early ones, I had less than no idea as to what I'm doing. I think I've got a little bit more of an idea now, but I had less than much of an idea. So I had one sort of loose room mic for the certainly for the sound file side of things. I had a little GoPro, and I had and I was actually using a workman's light, actually, which is yellow light, and yellow light tends not to work too fantastically there. If you want to do videos, and I've said this before to people, if you want to do videos, white light. You need white light. You need like a little light box that's kind of shining on my face up there, and maybe some sort of spotlight which is sort of shining my face over there. In order to do that, but I didn't do any of that early on, and because I didn't really have a clue, and I didn't know really about color correction and this and that and EQing, and so the early videos, the early first few videos actually are all pretty rough. They're all done in there. They were pretty much all snare drum videos, and I used to sit in there. I used to sit in there actually towards the back wall. I used to sort of sit on one of the flight cases and happily talk away. And now, if I went in the other room, I couldn't even see where I used to sit because it's got case after case after case, basically in front of it and on it, and you know, well, as I said, it has gone downhill. But that was that room, and then in this room, and again you'll see from the photos, I actually had two kits in here, and my idea was to have a sort of bigger kit, kind of just I suppose I would be at the front corner really, where I'm sat now, of where it sort of was, and I had my SQ2 kit set up in just around this corner here, and I'll give you some sort of current pictures. I mean, it's a mess in here at the moment because I haven't had a chance to tidy up, but yeah, you know, you'll get an idea of what I'm looking at right now, yeah, I had the SQ2 kit set up in this corner on a rack. I had all the drums set up, so there was 4 toms, the kick drum, 2 snares, and then a couple of little electronic pads as well. And over in this corner, where the rack with the reference Pure on it is, I had my little Slingerland kit, and the Slingerland kit. There was another kit I've had for forever as well. Yeah, and I had that sort of over in that corner, and you know, it had the sort of the big kit, small kit thing, and I could sit and jam on either one of them, and you know, have a great time. And then, as I said, I had a small rack of snare drums over in that corner, and you know, and there was a lot of space in here, and more importantly, you could see the walls. You can't really see the walls too much in it. Well, I mean, you can technically see them, but like, you know, it wasn't the floor to ceiling idiot levels of drums which it is now. So over the years, this room has evolved a lot. I mean, the other rooms kind of revolved around a theme a little bit, really, I suppose, which is keeping everything around the edges, or right up until recently anyway. Now it's kind of just keep everything where I can get to it. But this room has kind of sort of evolved. So I've now got this. You know what? I'm going to show you. I'll show you now. Here we go. So let's just turn the camera. So here you have the. I'll tell you what. I'll do this a bit better. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to switch to my phone, and you can get a better idea of what I'm actually talking about now. So, right, so up on my left where I'm currently sat, I've got this rather ramshackle rack, really. It's kind of, you know, I put it together a few years ago now, and it's kind of, you know, it's still standing. It does the job. It's a carpenter's nightmare. You know, it's done. There's my little workman's light, which is actually my gigging light. I take that with me to gigs. So basically, I can see when landlords turn the lights off and things. But so this corner here, as I said, is where the slinging kit used to be, the little 3-piece kit, and all this was basically all of this here was kind of sort of blank. Now moving around to the back of the room, as you can see. Now the funny thing, right, that there is an air conditioning unit, and in the 10 years I've been in this room, I think I've turned it on a whole 3 times. I seem to remember turning it on a few years ago to try and get some cool air, and got warm air, and I've never bothered to try and turn it on since. I think it was probably me, but like, you know, so anyway, so we've got this rack, and obviously you've got, you know, down there you've got the RCI bass drum. That's an 18-inch, that's the 18-inch XPK floor tom, actually. There's the Artstar 2, the kick drum, one of the Grand Star bass drums. And then that's like sort of Crystal Beats and RCIs and things, and well, there's a Star Classic up there, and there's the Pearl President Series Deluxe 13. Now over here, this is like Tama Corner, which I do rather like Tama Corner. You've got all the well, obviously you've got an Acrolite up there as well, but you know, you've got the Artstar, the Grand Star with the Rockstar, the Star Classic. You got the steel, SLP steel. You've got the other, well, there's the other light for a start. Then you've got the Star Classic, the other Star Classic. You've got the, let's just grab the light. There you go, this is a bit better now. Now you can see it. You've got the Session Elite. You've got the Pearl Masters kit there. The XPKs in the background there. It's the Sonar Performer, the Sonophonic. I believe that's actually, yeah, that's actually the wood fiberglass 12-inch tom there. Sakai Trilogy tom there. You've got a couple of snare drums there. There's the Custom Z10. The Craviotto kits there at the back. You know, it's all sorts of stuff, and then basically coming down, you've got like one of the 2 deluxe kits. I've got both of them now. The Swing Star, you know, that's the yellow snare drum for the kit that's currently set up, and then, you know, cases and bass drums and things, and that's just basically a stack of bass drums there. It's 2 XPK, the Trilogy, and something else, I don't even know what that is. And that's the gong drum. That's the Craviotto gong drum with a 22-inch Peisty gong on the top, which I absolutely love. I'm going to actually hang that up again, just because I haven't put it on a video yet. So we have, at the moment, this is Pearl Masters kit number 2, and I got this about a month ago, and very lovely it is too. I've got to put well, I've actually got to put those yellow felts you see there. They were a gift from a very nice man, Andy. Hello again. Hopefully you see this. Yeah, I've got to actually get around to doing this. Putting those in before I do the video on it. But the cymbals on this kit are actually review cymbals. They're the new Sabian anthologies. And that is the British drum company Purple Heart snare drum. So I mean, this is the room as it stands actually at this particular date. You know what, I have to say, I love coming in here. I do genuinely love coming in here. And just, I mean, I come in here and play most of the time, obviously. And I have to say, I come in here and I mean, I try and play as much as I can. But something, you know, sometimes, actually, like tonight, I played for not even 10 minutes, and then I started doing this. And but it's just nice to actually come out here and hang out with drums and just be in sort of happy place sort of mode. But this room has changed a lot, and when I redid it in October 2022, I kind of did the whole shelving thing because I thought that would be the best way to actually sort of get as much in here as I possibly can. I think it kind of works. Looking back at it, I could have done a better job with designing the damn thing, but like, you know. But I think, I mean, overall, it kind of works. And as one of my friends pointed out, I kind of end up with the drum shop kind of vibe in here, which was a perfect sentiment, really, because yes, it kind of is a drum shop vibe, and I think that's why I kind of like it so much. So one of the small advantages of having this rooms is that I've been able to kind of overindulge. I wouldn't say indulge, but it is overindulge in all my sort of little teenage fantasy kits, and I mean, I know I've talked about them separately, so I'm not going to bore you with them again now, but certainly having this room, and over the last 2 years I've managed to pick up a whole bunch of those little special catalogue kits that I saw when I was a teenager in the late 80s. You know, looking at catalogues and thinking, oh man, that's cool, I love that, and I've managed to get a bunch of those kits. And I wouldn't have done that had I not had the studio, and certainly also is the case. In fact, possibly the best case, because it was also the first case of that, was that I would never have had the Craviotto kit had I not had this studio, because there was no way I was ever going to spend that much money on one drum kit and have nowhere to play it. So I actually got that kit. I'd have to look it up. I think I started getting bits, the first bits of that kit probably 8 years ago. It's a 2011 kit, so they're probably about right, about 8 years ago. And I actually remember where I was sat. I was sat in the house at the dining room table working. I can't remember the day, but I know it was in the afternoon, sort of mid-afternoon, and I get an email from someone I knew saying, I'm selling my Craviotto kit, would you be interested? And I absolutely jumped on it. I remember thinking at the time that there was no way I would ever have done that had I not had this studio, because obviously Craviotto drums are expensive, Craviotto kits are expensive, more expensive. And I wasn't going to wasn't going to pay that much money for a kit that was just going to sit there and be looked at and very occasionally be taken out and played. Now, as it stands, actually, it doesn't get played as much as probably it should do, although it absolutely does get played. And I have gigged it. I've gigged it numerous times, actually, when I've been playing bigger stages, but that was the first example of, like, I bought that kit because I had this room. And subsequently, as I said, I've been able to indulge quite heavily, especially over the last 2 years, in terms of buying all those little sort of fantasy kits. The Pearl BLX, the Pearl Masters, well, certainly the first one, not this one I'm sat behind so much, but you know, the Star Classic, Violet Shade, the Star Classic Green Sparkle, all of the Grand Star stuff, the Art Star 2. You know, and the Sonophonic as well, actually. Not that that's a particularly large kit, it's actually only got 3 toms and the kick drum, but given that they're all square sizes, the 2 rack toms are square sizes, the floor tom's 16 by 18, and the bass drum's 22 by 18, so they're not small drums. But I've indulged. I've overindulged quite significantly in that respect to the point where basically there's too much in here. But yeah, I mean it's been fun. It's been great fun, and I feel that the room. I'm not sure I could actually better this layout now. I could possibly do something with this rack to make it a little wider, but at the same time, obviously if I brought that out further or did something like I've got on this side, I lose floor space here, and I'm kind of a little bit of a premium now. With the floor space, I've got enough to get the double bass kit in here, but it is a little tight, and certainly I never intended, when I actually did redo this room, my intention was to not have any drums currently sat behind where this camera is, and now I must have about a dozen drums sat there in 2 stacks. I mean, it was bad enough when it was just 1 stack, and now it's 2, and I do need to try and at least lose one of those stacks to kind of give me a little bit of a sort of more sanity sort of feeling. But I think, there's still a mess, but like I think they've kind of grown organically, and with the introduction with the stick rack, well actually technically it's 2 stick racks, but the stick rack in there and the head rack in there as well. It's a shame I can't get them in here actually, because then it really would look like a drum shop. But I kind of think it just sort of like adds to the overall vibe of the whole room. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, this room, as I may have said before, I probably have said before, but this actually was used as a project studio. The other room was the control room, and this was the live room. And I was actually told recently that there was a whole bunch of albums recorded here by someone who is very well known. You'd have to be a certain age, my age or above maybe, but of a well-known drummer who actually used to live here. Now, I'm not going to actually say the name of the drummer because that may. I know some of you actually obviously do know where I live because some of you have been here, but I don't seem to be see any great need to give my address away as such, but. Yeah, I mean this room has I think some special qualities to it, and as certainly in obviously I don't record albums in here. I've recorded a demo or 2 in here actually, but I've never recorded any albums in here. But certainly for now, I think it's kind of. It's a nice little drum room. I feel very happy when I come in here. I feel very lucky to have the room, and it's afforded me to live out my little strange fantasies in terms of obtaining drums and little bits of memorabilia as well. There are some drum heads poking around, and there's some. I've got 2 Peisty banners. There's obviously the one you saw. There's another Peisty banner up behind the drums up there. I've got a big New Zealand banner there. I've got a big Peisty. I haven't turned it on for a while actually, but I've got a big Peisty sort of I think it's a gold. I can't remember what they called it now. Lighting up display thing there. I've got a Sabian banner. I've got a drum head signed by Chris Penny, who's ex Dillinger, I think he was. Which, to be fair, I just got given. It's a nice little thing to look at, but the glass got cracked on it not too long ago, sadly. But I've got some drum heads knocking around and bits and pieces and some signed posters. And my only complaint with this room and it's going to sound very selfish, is that it's just not a tad bit bigger, because that would be really lovely. I'm still a little bit tight on space, as I've sort of said several times. I'm a little bit tight on space in here, but it is obviously completely of my own doing. I do have. I don't keep my. I don't keep my stands and hardware and stuff in here. I've got a couple of bits in here on the floor, which is the stuff I more readily sort of use when I'm changing kits about. But most of my stands and the hardware and stuff is actually out in another shed, which literally just has the hardware in it and the bass drum pedals and things, because it was just easier to do that than be falling over hardware cases and things, and I have way too much hardware too. I need to have a bit of a drum jumble sale thing, but it's I've had so much fun in this studio, and it's been great fun. I've made some friends. I've made some real good friends through having. Well, through doing these videos and having these rooms, and it's nice to. I do regularly correspond with a few of you, and obviously you guys will know who you are. But it's so nice and fun and exciting to. Correspond with people in different countries, and I regularly correspond with people in North America, in the UK, and in Australia and New Zealand as well, which I probably wouldn't have done had I not had these rooms, because I never would have done any of this. So it's kind of. It's kind of been fun, and sometimes I do think about just stop doing all this. The reason why you don't get so many updates these days is because basically life gets in the way, and now I am a parent. Finding the time and all the energy to do things. As obviously many of you will know, it's not so easy now. Plus my working pattern changed a little while ago as well. So I'm not actually even in the house as much as I used to be. So life has become a little bit more complicated, and all for the better. And I'm very grateful and happy about that too. But at the same time. It does mean that it's a little harder for me to get the content filmed, edited, and put up, because I'm also still doing reviews for MikeDalby.com as well. So every 2 weeks I'm doing a video and a written review for that. And it's just I just don't have enough hours in the day to get everything done, and sometimes just whilst the will is still strong to do these things, the actual physical side of it is just not as easy as it used to be. So but I will keep making content. I'm very thrilled that I'm very thrilled to even have a very small, modest YouTube channel, but at the same time, thank you to everyone, because I've got something out of it. I hope it's been fun for you guys, and I do appreciate all the feedback and the comments, and it might take me, sometimes it takes me a couple of weeks to get back and answer all the comments, but I do generally try and answer all of the comments as well. Except for the silly ones, the odd silly one, in which case sometimes I don't know what to say to some people, but I do generally always try and answer the comments and things. So if you've got any questions or anything, please do leave a comment or a question, and I will get back to you. It might take me a while, but I will get back to you. But on that note, I think that's it for now. I mean, I'm not sure how long this has been. I'm not sure how long it'll end up being. But yeah, I hope this has been sort of fairly entertaining. It's been entertaining for me because looking back over the 10 years, I remember what this room, well, I actually remember what both rooms were like 10 years ago. And it just blows my mind that I am now here talking to a camera in a room full of drums. Blows my mind completely. So, but anyway, look, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support and your interest and your comments and kind words. And for those of you that are now some of my friends, thank you. So, see you later, and I'll catch you next time.